freelance web developer opportunities in these strange times. Today's topic on the Real Tough Candy live stream. How's everybody doing? Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about some actionable, practical stuff you can start implementing tonight if you're feeling particularly motivated. We're living in some strange times. A lot of us are out of work. A lot of us are furloughed. A lot of us have our hours cut. A lot of us are just feeling like hustlers right now, baby. We're going to get that money. Whatever your status, we're going to be talking about some ideas that you can put into practice. This is a topic I'm very excited about. I'm passionate about this stuff. I wrote a book about it. I did a course about it. Freelance web development. Now, before we get into it, of course, we have to do a roll call and see who all is here. Sherry, what's up? Sherry, I'm glad you made it. Thank you for tuning in. Sammy Turner, what's up? What's up? Paradoodly do on the ones and twos tonight with her mod skills extraordinaire. What's up, Blaslow? I am motivated to sleep 18 hours right now. I feel you on that. I woke up today, I'm just like, can I just go back to bed? Is that a thing? But had to get up and had to get things done. Let's go back to the comments here. Not quite ready to dive into tonight's topic because this is a real important one for a lot of us and all of our entrepreneurial friends and family who may be unwittingly tuning in. Mad Max, what's up? Albir, how's it going? Jeff Grinley, holla. Hello from India, says Mad Max. Good for you for tuning in. I know a lot of people are from overseas who tune in. It's like midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m. over there, even later. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your night to get some inspo. Now, as we all know, life's been a little strange. So strange, in fact, that before anything, I have to do a product placement. I did it all for the JavaScript. Cups, t-shirts, stickers, THICC, that's thick, hoodies, the works over at my Teespring store, CandyScript. I have various designs. This is my best-selling design, but I have glamping with JavaScript frameworks. That's a kind of a cool one. And another design that eludes me at the moment, but it's also a good one. Oh yeah, it's the JavaScript cheese. It's a little mouse taking a bite out of the JavaScript logo. Check it out. We even have leotards for the leotard-minded watching right now. Paradoodly do, please share the CandyScript link for all your merch needs. I have in front of me a map of the continental United States with a few provinces sprinkled in for my northern brethren. The reason I pulled this map up is to illustrate how expansive just one little part of the world is. As most of us know, there are 48 states depicted here. If we go like this, we might even be able to see 50. There's 49, there's 50. There is so much going on at all times in just this little corner. And if we even zoom out a little bit more, we can get most of the picture here. This is a big world. The world doesn't sleep. And why I wanted to open up with this is just to illustrate the opportunities. We live in our cities, we live in our bubbles, we live in our towns, we live in our neighborhoods. And that right there is already just massive opportunity for us as freelancers. But then we think, oh, I live in Illinois. What if I started doing business in Iowa? What if I started freelancing here in Missouri and spread out? What if I started freelancing around the US or around the world? Generally speaking, it's better to start small in your area, in your neighborhood, and we're going to be talking about that. But just zooming into any little city, or big city, little city, middle city, let's go down to the ATL. I know Sherry's tuning in, so spotlight on the ATL. We have some Georgia peeps in the chat right now. We go here. Atlanta is a huge city. There are thousands of freelancer opportunities. And with this lockdown, there's a particular type of opportunity available to all freelance web developers right now, and that relates to small businesses with delivery and curbside pickup. Now, if I typed in McDonald's, there's going to be a lot popping up. So generally 3.1 stars, McDonald's not getting much love in the ATL right now. Maybe that was not a very good example. But just zooming in, notice all these businesses just on this one street of McDonald's. So we have McDonald's, we have Popeyes, we have Wendy's, IHOP, Zaxby's, Burger King, Krispy Kreme. I can promise you all of these stores right now, all of these restaurants, all of these businesses are doing delivery. I can even promise Krispy Kreme is doing delivery with either people working for the company or something like DoorDash, Uber Eats. There's a few different food delivery services, right? So let's say you live in Atlanta. As a freelance web developer, you're thinking, how can I take advantage of this? All of a sudden, these places are closed. Not only that, they are drumming up so much business with delivery. Can I take advantage of this stuff? Well, you're on the right track. But reaching out to Wendy's, McDonald's, and Popeyes, let's say you one of these places doesn't have their food app is under optimized, or you notice the glitch or something, and you reach out to Popeyes and say, hey, actually, your mobile app, there's a glitch, and I can't order my food. And I'd like to offer my services and work with you if you're interested. If you emailed Popeyes, that email is going to go straight to trash. However, let's go down the street. What's this? What do we start seeing here? Majestic Diner, Soul Vegetarian #2, Finelli's Pizza, Gusto Ponce, Dark Horse Tavern, or Gusto Ponce, sorry, Two Urban Legs, Venkman's, The Vortex, The Porter Beer Bar. All of these are local establishments. I don't even have to click on half of these to know there's only one Majestic Diner. There's 2 Soul Vegetarians, perhaps 3 or 4. But these are all local. And I can promise you that some of these are not taking advantage of food delivery or even having a website where people can go and see their menu for even pickup. Because some restaurants are still open, but it's only takeout or you do curbside pickup. So a lot of things I noticed too with these smaller businesses, they only have a Facebook page. Let me get rid of this for the full experience here. A lot of these businesses only have a Facebook page. So that right there is a huge opportunity for freelance developers. You're going to have a much better response rate to a local business. And right now, because of this lockdown, because of the quarantines, for a few more weeks, a few more months, let's just say a few more months, because we all know it's probably going to be that long. These types of businesses are going to have to make a choice. They're going to have to cater to contactless delivery or be out the door. Now, unfortunately, some of these companies are going to go belly up, but for the ones who want to fight, this is where you as a freelance developer can really help them. You're making money in this, but you're also really helping this company. What if, let's just say Majestic Diner, do they have a website? They do. Let's check this out. Okay, let's use Majestic Diner as an example. So this is good. They do have a website. Open 24 hours, Majestic Diner. They're not saying anything about dine in or delivery or anything. This would be a great example. Now, before you start reaching out to these people, now again, this is going on the premise that you live in Atlanta. You have to keep it local. You have to keep it local or you're just going to go straight to trash with your email. People are going to say thanks but no thanks on the phone when they discover you're from out of town. Most people want to keep it local. Most small businesses want to keep it local for multiple reasons. Keep it local. So we're going to the Majestic Diner and you see they don't say anything about delivery. They don't say anything about curbside. They don't say anything about to go. This could be a huge opportunity. Revamping this website, making them an app, hooking them up with curbside pickup or, adding that functionality here for people to order Can't do any of that stuff. This is a totally static website. And the approach you take is going to vary. It's going to be, a lot of it depends on, right now it's tough. I mean, obviously we can't just go in person and be like, hi, I'd like to help build you an app. Like, no. It's going to be phone or email for right now. But just think of how you can transform this type of establishment with your web skills. Online ordering, an option for paying online, and all this stuff. This is a perfect opportunity. A lot of businesses are being left in the dust right now. And places like IHOP, Popeye's Kitchen, all these other Krispy Kreme, they're killing it right now. They're killing it. People are getting, there's so much stuff being delivered right now. It's insane. So this is a big market number one, big opportunity number one. Restaurants and other food delivery places in your local area. There are going to be right now companies are scrambling. They're seeing the money. They're seeing money go out the door, like literally with their food. People, there is just so much, has been a huge shift with this delivery thing, with online ordering. And a lot of small businesses right now are seeing what they're missing out on, and they're scrambling. But they don't have $25,000, $30,000 to pay a digital agency. They might have $2,000 or $3,000. They might have more. Depends on what kind of skills you're offering them. By the way, we go through this kind of stuff in Freelance Newbie. I don't talk about the restaurant industry because obviously this is kind of a new thing. But Freelance Newbie, this is the cheapest. I can't believe I'm selling this book for like $10. Like, it should have been $100, honestly. But you live, you learn. I also have a Udemy course that's top rated. Sales are booming, and it's no wonder why. I've had my best month on Udemy in 7-8 months. There's no wonder why. Because a lot of people are out of work. Web developers are out of work, and they're trying to get into this freelance thing. And number two, it's just it's popping right now. It's popping right now in freelancing. These businesses are pressed to get online ordering and delivery. And this is, look at this. Just to illustrate again, this is one road. This is one road in Atlanta, Georgia. This is North Avenue Northwest. A few blocks. And I've already picked out 4 or 5 targets as a freelance web developer, all in the same general vicinity. And if you do a good job on your first project, you can bet those referrals are going to be starting to pop in too. Small business owners know other small business owners. They are very well networked. And if you do a good job on that first one, you're going to be getting some referrals. You don't have to do any advertising. They will be inbound calls. They're coming to you. Now, just to illustrate this potential, this is, like I said, this is one road in Atlanta. We're zooming out. We're zooming out. We're zooming out. We're still in Atlanta. We're still in Georgia. We're in the southeastern United States. Now apply that literally 1,000,000 times just in this country. Whether you live in BFE or a really busy city, these are companies right now that need web developers. And like I said, they generally don't have 25, 30. I've seen quotes for simple e-commerce sites for very small businesses, for restaurants, for like 80,000, 100,000. I worked with one client. They had one product, right? It wasn't in the food industry. It was different industry. I worked with this client. They had one product, and they got a quote for $80,000 for creating their e-commerce site for one freaking product. Most businesses don't have that kind of money. And so in exchange, they're willing to settle for someone who is freelancing, who maybe doesn't have as much experience, but you don't have to you don't have to create the completely custom, 100% bespoke. They are looking for speed. And the other thing too, with these companies, there is a price on speed. If you want it quicker, you got to pay more. And so most of these businesses just can't. They're still stuck on Facebook. They're still stuck on Facebook, and they know they're missing out. Okay, and just to zoom it out, we're still in the States. This is a worldwide phenomenon right now. And even if you just listen, we can dump on Wix and Squarespace all day long. We know they're kind of jokes, right? As software developers, as web developers, they're like, dude, Wix, seriously? There are businesses out there that are perfectly fine with Wix. There are businesses out there that are perfectly satisfied with Squarespace. And sometimes those solutions fit the problem. So don't be dismissive. And again, going back to the referrals, you crank out a good project that first time around, you're going to get these referrals. You may get some calls for people who want Wix, or a lot of times what they'll say, they'll find a site that they like and say, I want the exact same as this, only with my name on it. And a lot of times it is a Squarespace theme or a Wix theme or something, but it's money in the bag. And you know what? It's even, I would argue that doing a Wix site, even with a drag and drop, is more valuable experience as a web developer than a tutorial on YouTube or Udemy, because you are solving a unique problem. Eventually, you are going to get clients who are going to pay more and have you do more custom things. But for your first web developer freelance projects, who cares? It's real world experience. And it's not just about the code as a freelancer. It's not just about the code as a 9-to-5 software developer. Communication is huge, working with clients, processing and fleshing out these requests, feature requests, and project requirements. This is all part of process-oriented thinking. And coding is a part of that, but it is definitely not everything. So let's go to the comments and see what people have to say about Atlanta. Sherry says, how would you pitch the app or website idea to them? That's where I stumbled. That is a great question. So under normal circumstances, because here's the thing too, once this entire crap is all is over and done with, hopefully, eventually things have to go there's going to be a new normal, but once we get to that new normal, you're going to be able to go in person. And in my experience, that's always preferable, because with freelancing, there is a huge trust factor. When you're just cold emailing someone from a different state, let's say, so Minnesota, let's say someone is cold emailing me from New York. They see my website as a small business owner. They see my small business website. They send me an email, and it may be totally genuine. Hey, my name's Ricky from Rochester, New York. I saw your website. What I noticed that you were doing really well was this. However, what I saw different was this, and this, and what I can fix is this, and this, and it's going to improve your metrics by blah, blah, blah. You could have the most brilliant pitch ever. But if you're out of state or something, it squeals scam, and it squeals low trust factor. So, I mean, that really doesn't answer your question at all, or even start to, but I do want to emphasize it has to be, that actually does relate, because what I was getting at is that in-person meeting does a few things. Number one, it establishes yourself as an authority. It tells that business owner that you're serious. You took time out of your day to go to their establishment. Now, this is something I talk about too in Freelance Newbie. It's a thick book and a action-packed course. Go to that restaurant. Have a meal there. And then afterwards, tell your server how great it was. Start up a conversation. Really, this is how all this stuff starts. You have to start a conversation. Otherwise, you run the risk of sounding like just another toupee-wearing used car saleswoman, and that's not good. Start building rapport as early as possible. Be part of their process. Be part of their world. And that gives you some more information about how they do things. And then afterwards, you could ask that server, can I talk to the manager? I would like to compliment them on the meal, and then get to talking. So there's a schmooze factor, a significant schmooze factor in all of this, but you still can do it through phone and email. It's going to be a cold call, which prepare for 90 to 95% of people to say, I'm not interested. So, I mean, listen to this, if you get one person who earnestly and honestly says, I don't care if it's Albuquerque, Redding, California, Boise, Idaho, wherever, If you get 1 out of 10 people, 1 out of 10 business owners who says, I'm interested, you're doing pretty freaking good. You're going to get a lot of people who just aren't feeling it. And just because you see the problems of their site, you see the issue when they're just using a Facebook page, does not mean they're going to immediately see the light. And sometimes wooing these contacts, wooing these contacts and contracts, it can take months. Now, the cheaper the site is, the less you're doing, the easier of a buy it is for these people, because they're not putting down 5 and 6 and 10 grand, right? They can, if you say, I can build this little landing page for $500, I can have it by the end of the week, like, whoa. And you're telling me it's going to do what? I can't tell anyone how to price things. Like, that is not my domain. And there's so many things. There's so many pricing factors. But as far, I mean, that's a great question. Right now, you're going to have to do the cold calls. You're going to have to do the cold emails. And we talk about that also in this book and video course, the cold calls and cold emails. We even have a few scenarios. I don't remember if they're cold calls or not, though. Actually, take that back. The calls are with a client who's belligerent. But most people aren't going to respond to the email. Most people are going to say no on the phone or give you like a soft pass on the phone. And that's okay. I mean, seriously, if you could have even a 5% success rate, 1 in 20 businesses saying, I want to know more, that's pretty good. 5% is pretty good. So you have to emphasize that you're in the local area, though, for the reasons we described, mainly the trust factor. So people can know that you exist. And include your website. When you have a freelance landing page, include your city. Include your city, or at least allude to it. You know what I mean? Like, some people, I mean, I totally get it, are concerned with the privacy thing, but as a freelancer, it's no longer your just personal life. Like, this is almost a business. And it will get to the point where it is a business, a legitimate business. And having people know you're from that area is just such a huge deal. It's a huge deal. It is a make or break. So in your cold call, in your cold email, you want to note that you're from the local area. You want to note your skills, and you want to be able, without going overboard, just in a bullet point or two, because you don't want to have, they're not going to read the whole thing. You got to get them within 20 seconds. You got to have them read that whole email in 30 seconds or less. Tell them what you can do, and tell them what that is going to do for their business. Because we're about this, right? We're about that cash money. If we're going to hire a freelancer, we want to minimize our risk. We want to minimize our vulnerability. So if you can explicitly yet succinctly minimize the risk and minimize the business owner's vulnerability, you're going to have a lot better response rate, in my opinion. Great question. Let's go to the comments. 50 viewers. Welcome, new subscribers. Welcome. The Amazing Raven's here. The Amazing Raven. Where have you been? Danielle Bloom, what is up? George Meehan, I am not a good schmoozer in person or on the phone. I know it is. It's hard. Trust me, I'm not either. It's just like, I mean, it is a form of faking it. It's just a form of faking it, and it sucks. It is a skill, though. It's just a technical skill. If you can see it as a technical skill, it's not. It's a skill you can learn. And for those 5 minutes or 5 hours where you just have to schmooze and fake, it can be worth the investment. It is a lot of times worth the investment of doing that. Great audience today. Sammy Turner. I will have to look into Firebase. Who's dropping Firebase? Rick Cable says, local chamber of commerce. I used to go to a lot of local business mixers and functions. Good networking there. Totally. Yeah. These small businesses are very interconnected. They're not interconnected, but they are. The owners talk with one another. They're in the same groups. They're members of the Chamber of Commerce. There's different mixers and different events for people who own small businesses. Even like, now let's take this a step further. Let's go to, what city? Can someone throw a city at me? And then we'll go eyes on. We'll go street level on the next city. The first person to throw a city out there, we're going to zoom in, and I'll show you another example of this. Amazing Raven is in school. Oh yeah, that's right. Computer science, right? Georgia? No, Louisiana. Todd Miller. Can't believe I caught a session of live. What's up, Todd? Amazing Raven says, school rules my life, trying to stay caught up on assignments. So ready to have my computer science degree already. Totally. Developers, Amazing Raven has been with this channel for almost 3 years. Like next month, I think she'll be a part of this channel for 3 freaking years. Excited for you. I'm excited for your degree program. That sounds, it's good. Computer science is never going out of style. Radu says, also see if any friends who either own or have parents who own businesses that can help getting a shoe in the door. Oh, that's a great comment. That's a great comment. If you don't know anyone in your local circle who owns a business, one of your friends, one of your family's friends, or one of your family members' friends, one of your friends' friends know someone who does. A lot of, I mean, we can joke about the boomer memes all we want, but a lot of boomers are running some successful businesses. A lot of boomers are running growing businesses. So keep the jokes coming, but I'll keep the money coming because I know that set, a lot of them are not tech savvy. As far as even doing something like Wix or Squarespace or something, or you know what the bigger thing is, usually they just don't have the freaking time. They're running a business. They don't have time to go sign up for a dang Squarespace, WordPress install and all this other stuff, take photos. They don't have time for that. They got a business to run, baby. That's your job. That's where freelance web developers come in. And even doing stuff, this is where you can make some money too. Someone threw out Charleston, South Carolina. Does anyone know how to do the Charleston dance? The Charleston. I wish we could have like pop-in videos of subscribers to just like bounce on screen and do the Charleston. So let's go to Charleston. We're going to look at some other businesses. You know, a few people have recommended I check out Charleston. Is it amazing? I like that antebellum charm, but I also can't stand the swamp heat. So I might have to go in like December or something. Fleet Landing Restaurant and Bar. Developers, here we go again. It's the same dang story, city after city. Look, Rainbow Row. Okay, that's this is a tourist attraction, right? Okay, maybe not the best example. Fleet Landing Restaurant and Bar, temporarily closed. But even still, this is an opportunity. It's temporarily closed because of obvious reasons. But what about when they get back on their feet? If you live in Charleston, I'd be crafting an email right now. I'd be getting on the phone right now and talking to the person in charge. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a cold call. It's going to be a cold email. But if you just get a 5% success rate, I mean, wow, that's you're doing pretty good. 1 in 20 people interested. That's pretty good. We have Callie's Hot Little Biscuit breakfast restaurant. Doesn't say they're closed. Check out Callie, man. Prohibition, another restaurant, open until 2 a.m. What about booze delivery? Now, in some states, that's a no-go. Other states, I've seen them do takeout and curbside pickup and delivery with that. But think of all the stuff right now. Just in this little smidge, this little island, this little peninsula in whatever this little landmass is in Charleston. So many opportunities. It's sick. It's sick how many opportunities there are right now with the new shift to delivery. It was Ben Riley. By the way, if Ben Riley's in the chat, he sent me a super chat the other night and I cut the stream off as soon as he sent me the super chat and I have a question to answer for him. So if anyone sees Ben Riley, please yell at me and let me know he is in the chat. Martha, developers, look at this. Who said Charleston? Whoever's in Charleston right now, look at this. Harbinger Cafe, Rodney Scott's Barbecue, the Park Cafe, and I can almost promise you these business owners know each other. And once you get your foot, Radu, in the comments, he said, once you get your foot in the door, just get your foot in the door. Because you're going to get some references, you're going to get referrals rather. All it takes is one. That's why early on in freelancing, you have to really give it your all. And look, even if it only ends up that if averages out, you're getting paid $8 an hour for your first project, who cares? Even if you're not getting paid at all for your first few projects to put it in your freelance portfolio, who cares? Because eventually the jobs are going to get better, you're going to get paid more, and more and more people are just going to see you. It's like, it's a snowball effect. So, because I know right now people are like, listen, my time's valuable. I am worth X amount. Look, I know you are. I know these skills. Most people can't do these skills. That's why we get paid the big bucks. But you have to prove it first. And again, I know product placement, you got to forgive me, but we talk about building your portfolio on Freelance Newbie in the book and in the course. Paradoodly-doo, if you haven't popped that link to death yet, please share it with the crew. Because there is, I mean, this is just glossing over the surface. This is just popping out some ideas for people. But like I said at the beginning of this stream, the whole planet right now is facing this status. And it is a perfect opportunity for us to take some action. What I see a lot of times too, now this one is especially, I just need to meditate when I hear this. You're going to get a lot of pushback from the companies, right? This isn't easy. Doing this stuff isn't easy. You're going to get some pushback. And one of the things you hear a lot is that my son or daughter runs our Facebook page. We're doing just fine. When you start schmoozing and you start pitching your idea of how you're going to transform this business or what value you're going to add as a freelance web developer, you have to know the weakness of that argument. Because sometimes they're going to throw arguments at you. They're going to throw these, they're going to throw it right back at you when you show them what you can do. They're going to throw it right back at you. So you need to know how to navigate these client objections. And so that requires homework. What would you say? What would you say to someone who they need a website? Let's say Lewis Barbecue. Lewis is open until 10 p.m. tonight. However, maybe they're not doing delivery. Maybe they're just on Facebook. Let's say they're just on Facebook. What would you say if Mr. Lewis himself told you as a freelance developer, I don't need your services, my daughter runs our Facebook? Would you know how to navigate that? And not only that, keep your cool doing it. Because a lot of stuff that people say is, to us as web developers, is pretty ignorant, right? To them, it's just a fact. Like, I don't need to spend any more money. I have a freaking Facebook page. Like, I can think of 7 reasons off the top of my head why. I mean, it's just bullet point at this point, because this is one I hear so much. I hear it so much. Because, and they love it because it's free. They get that's whatever you want to call it. Their eyes start popping because they see the thumbs up. They get the dopamine hit. Facebook is a terrible, terrible solution for small businesses. It is a tool in their social media presence, but if you're using a social media site for your main focus, for your main digital presence, that's a huge problem. So when you decide to reach out to these companies, just be prepared. Just be prepared. And we do talk about those objection scenarios and cranky clients and difficult clients. We do simulated client calls in How to Get It, or Freelance Newbie rather. Martha Lou's Kitchen. I'm beating this. This is a horse I'm beating to death right now. This is, I mean, just so much. But that is one area. Ben Riley, the reason I mentioned Ben Riley, not only do I owe him to answer, I have to answer his question from the super chat, but he was the one who mentioned about CBD products being delivered. CBD, to my knowledge, now I don't know about the rest of the world, but in most states right now, it's good to go. It's good to go. You're not going to have any problems transporting it and delivering it. So that's another thing. It's not just food being delivered. It's essential items and items that basically people want. So Shopify sites, some places, again, going back to the Facebook example, some businesses just need e-commerce. I shouldn't say just need e-commerce, but a lot of these places need e-commerce. So you have a lot of options with that. Shopify is a great solution. You don't need to know how to code to use Shopify. So if you're an aspiring web developer, that could be an option too. There's a lot of different options for e-commerce. Let's check out the comments. 61 viewers, 27 likes. If you're just tuning in, welcome. If you're enjoying today's live stream, please be sure to hit a like button. It really helps the channel. It tells YouTube that these videos are worth someone's time. I want to give a shout out to Andrew. Andrew, if you're listening, thank you for your patronage. He's the newest patron over at patreon.com/RealToughCandy. He and, geez, many others, dozens more people who are YouTube channel members, patrons, and donate through PayPal. Like, a few other people have opted. They make this channel possible, and they make these videos possible, so we want to give a special thanks to them. If you're not able to financially contribute, that is no problem at all. Just give a little likesy-loo. That will be just as well. Moad is from Morocco. Awesome, welcome. Sammy Turner, my daughter runs our Facebook page. Me. Okay, cool. Bye. I know, right? Seriously, when I hear that client objection, my blood pressure it's an immediate spike. But because it's almost like you can use scripts too. This is another thing. You can use, when you get on the phone, no one knows what you're doing. Creepy as that sounds. Normally people don't know what you're doing, so you can read from a script. Try to make it sound as natural as possible, but a lot of time you can even have the client objections on that script that you can reference. Try to make it one page so it's not like, you don't want to make it sound scripted is what I'm saying. But if there are certain things that you just can't cram into your brain, referencing a script during your call is just fine. It's just fine. In fact, I might even encourage it for people who have, people who are new. There's a lot to remember and there's a lot to go through. And when you're in that moment talking to someone, anything goes. We have ideas of how we want the conversation to go, but what if they throw a curveball at you? What if they throw you that my daughter runs our Facebook shtick? Like, do you want that person to know that your blood pressure is totally spiked into the max? Or do you want to respond in a way that's going to handle that client objection and get them to see the light? Now, talking to clients, and you'll hear other business owners and other freelancers say this as well, people who interact, client-based businesses, it's really less about the sale and more about the conversation. And really showing them why they should choose you, showing them the benefit. Showing them the benefit rather than, here's what I offer, what do you say? Like I said earlier with the Atlanta example, you don't want to come across as a toupee-wearing Honda Civic saleswoman, because that's a real turnoff. Someone said they were from Morocco. Let's head over to Morocco. Let's take a little field trip. Oh, geez, come on. I know Morocco. I look so ignorant right now. Here it is. I knew it was somewhere over here in North Africa. So let's go to Morocco. Marrakesh, let's do it. Casablanca, Let's go to Marrakesh. Now, I'm going to have a hard time reading these small businesses because it appears they're in Arabic. But maybe there will be some translation. Look at this. What about this? They got golf courses in Marrakesh? A lot of them. Holy smokes. 1, 2, 3 golf courses on the outskirts of town. Let's try and find some businesses that could benefit from freelance web developers right now. And I want to stress too that once we get to the new normal and you're able to go in person, people are still going to need web services. Cafe Clock opens at 9 a.m. Takeout and delivery. Do they have a website? Let's check it out. They have a website, cafeclock.com. All right, developers, here we go. Let's see. Cooking classes, workshops, and events. This looks fun, man. This is like, I don't know any other website, any coffee shop that, what New York Times, like, are they endorsed by New York Times or what? This place looks cool, but this could be an example too. People love their caffeine. I don't know the situation in Morocco right now, but if it is like what it is in the States, what about coffee delivery? What about curbside? What about some sort of, app? It doesn't have to be an improvement of this website, but there's just so many ways you could go with it, because right now this is a static site and there isn't much activity going on except for the contact form. Yeah, do they offer food? They have a menu? This could be good. Pancakes with caramelized banana. Stop it. Clock camel burger, taza ketchup, salad, and fries. That's all me. 95, is that dinar? Sorry, I'm ignorant with that. 95. Like, how much is that in USD? I want a freaking camel burger now. Right now. Vegetable pastilla with tatuka. Ooh. Now look at this now. So we went to this website for the purpose of curbside pickup and home delivery. That option is not there. But you know what else is not here? Photos of their products. This is something we as freelance web developers can do fairly easily. If they're not tech savvy, let's say I don't know what they're using. Let's just say they're using WordPress or something. So they're using WordPress and the person in charge of this website really doesn't know how to do it. What if you offered to arrange their photos of the food? You could even take the photos of the food. I mean, if you're good enough, if you're confident in basic photography skills, they don't have to be $1,000 photos. Take a few photos of the fruit salad, or work with a really creative person at Cafe Clock to get that going. This page could really benefit from some photos. You could even do a consultation. You could tell them, I have some ideas. Now again, being in person is so important with this, and building that rapport is a critical component. But once you build that rapport and you're able to pitch it, what about a 1-hour consultation where you point out things that can really make this website pop? They don't need a new website. This website's clean and nice looking. But what about, for another thing, you could consult them on this. There are too many characters per line on this. It's not accessible. And it's just a little harder to read than other sites. Now, from my research, it's about 70 some characters per line. I think it's like 73 characters. That's optimal, and no more than 90. I could be wrong on that, but I can say just by reading this right here, this is too long. This is too long of a sentence. These are too long of sentences. Doing an hour consultation and just breaking down their website. That's freelance web development. You're not coding. You don't have to. But you are improving the web with your developer skills. If I wasn't a web developer, I wouldn't know off the top of my head the ideal length, which I still can't confirm it. Should we check? Let's go here. Ideal, let's say ideal, geez, if I can frickin' spell. Ideal sentence length for accessibility. Character length, my bad. Character length per line for accessibility. 50 to 60. See, there's room for 70 characters per line. Okay, so I was overestimating this. 50 to 60. There's room for 70 characters per line. The optimal line length for your body text is considered 50 to 60. Other sources suggest up to 75 characters is acceptable. This is from stackexchange.com. So if we wanted to do, let's count the characters, just so I'm not leading people astray. Charactercounttool.com. We'll take, whoops, my bad. We'll take this line right here under clock crew and see how many characters that is. Go like there. It's 110. So according to Stack Exchange, that's double what it should be to be readable, right? It's more than double. 50, well, depending on who you ask. It's about double what it should be. And that's an important component too. Not all web development. I mean, web development is us being web developers, but it's also us putting businesses first. And if that means adding some pics, if that means making this a little more accessible, and whatever, it's totally viable too. That is money too. I mean, while you're at it, why not do some of this stuff? This is stuff most of us can do. So shout out to Morocco. I want to check out this coffee shop once I get my world travel back on. Eltic says it's a Squarespace site. Yeah, and I mean, that's totally fine. There may be a time, like right now, I don't think Squarespace does e-commerce, but either way, they're not doing delivery, they're not doing curbside pickup, they're not doing online ordering, I guess is what I should say. Is what I should say. But again, in Morocco, I don't know the situation. I don't know the status. I can only really speak to some of these states in the US right now with the current situation. But again, it just illustrates the opportunities. Take a dart and just throw it, and there's going to be opportunities. It's insane. Let's go to the comments. Todd Miller says $25.86 for US dollar for the camel burger. Man, they don't give camel burgers away. I would do it though. With the Taza ketchup, salad, and fries. Clock camel burger. Anybody like lamb here? I like lamb. I like bison. I like lamb. GTD, what is up? D Space. Come to Istanbul after Clovis for history and old restaurants, Tough Candy. Deep Space, I would love to do a world food tour. I love food. I love good food. I love good food. I love making it. I love eating it. I love exploring it. I love watching PBS create back-to-back cooking shows. America's Test Kitchen. There are some great ethnic cooking shows too that are just out of this world. I love food. I love all of it. Ian Bayless, what is up? Ian's another patron. Thank you for your patronage, Ian. He says, I would tell the customer that it's okay not to choose me, but remember they are under Facebook's control, and tell them the story about how a buddy of mine had half of his business shut down because of Facebook. Ian, I mean, you nailed it with that. These are true stories that happen. They happen every day. How many people do you know who have had one of their socials completely eliminated or taken down, destroyed, etc.? A lot. You know what else I see? Here's another thing. I mean, Ian really gave one of the biggest reasons for not doing Facebook. And get ready to face these client objections because you will hear them. My daughter does our Facebook. We're doing just fine. You're going to hear that a lot. Okay, Facebook, they own your data and they can ruin you. They can take your page down at any moment. Any moment, for any reason. You can't get on the phone and dispute, but if you own your website, if you have it on your own server or have it on someone else's server that you're paying monthly or whatever, that's still your info. That is your information. Once you put it on a social like FB, yeah, it's yours, but not really. And that looming threat, I mean, imagine if there are companies out there who are doing millions in sales each year who are still on Facebook, and that is their destination for their digital presence. It's terrible. I mean, it's so dubious. It can change at any minute. And that is, a great counter argument for these client objections. Wouldn't you want something a little more sustainable? Wouldn't you want all these features that you just can't have? You can't even choose your own colors on Facebook. It's very limiting. Ian says, the Bayless code, lamb is good when you cook it right. Yeah, you have to make it right. I've grilled it before. I've had lamb kebabs. Amazing. Dip it in some yogurt, some Greek yogurt. I'm finished. Love it. Deep Space says they're doing their own container gardening. Great. Yeah, a lot of people are doing the self-reliance thing. That's really great to see. Rick Cable says, don't get stuck in other people's ecosystem. Build your site. That is your ship. Sail it. They will all fail at some point. Ask Tom. Love the MySpace reference, Rick. It's so true. It's true. GTD says, I don't think fear tactics or high pressure work is advisable. Right. It's not, because it's not, but you're going to get the client objection. And instead of nodding your head and thinking, how do I counter that? You have A, B, C, and D reasons why it's just not a good choice. And Facebook is a place where people, it is part of the social package of a business. Maybe we can do even like some advanced freelancing. We could do like some scripts or something for client objections. Again, that's something we talk about in Freelance Newbie, but there's so much to talk about with that. And these objections are growing too. There's more and more objections every day. And most of us do know someone or a business or even ourselves who have been, banned or whatever. You go to like Facebook jail or something. I don't know. I haven't used the site in years. It's so silly. Let's go to these comments. Great comments, by the way. Radu says, now I'm really hungry. Totally. Todd Miller, open empty restaurants are a no-go for me. Anyone else like that? Yeah, that's bad. That's bad news. A lot, this is a thing too. Let's name North Avenue Northwest, I think it was. Anyways, we could just go zoom in on any of these. Something's temporarily closed. Oh, the Atlanta Botanical Garden. By the way, I stumbled upon the San Diego Zoo's live animal cams last night. I was so obsessed. They have a burrowing owl. They have the monkey cam. They have lions. They have koala cams. I was dying. They have so many cams. They have the animal cams just make my life better. Old Lady Gang Southern Cuisine. Dare I click, developers. Dare I click. 3.8. The other thing about Facebook too, people can leave reviews there, and you can't control that. A lot of these reviews, as we know, are fake. Sometimes they're fake for the better. Sometimes they were paid for by the competition. Oh, it happens a lot. I can almost promise you one of these. I've worked with clients who have had their competition bomb their reviews on Facebook, on Yelp, on Google. These are people. Okay, on one set we have the competitors. So old lady gang. There's old biddy gang somewhere who bombed this review with a 1 star. They bombed it for sure. It's a cheap tactic, but it happens so often. The other thing on Facebook, okay, so we have the competitors who do that, and also disgruntled ex-employees. I know a guy who, and I'm going to just say the name. He talked about it in a live stream, A Nerd's World. Developers, I love this channel. Paradoodly do, share that channel. He owns a digital agency, I think in Toronto. He owns multiple in Toronto. He's very successful. I really just love his channel, and I love what he's doing with his life. Really interesting guy. But he, A Nerd's World, they are SEO kings in Canada. He had a Facebook page for the business that he no longer even uses. Why? Because an ex-employee was disgruntled and bombed his Facebook with horrible things. And there is no way for him to delete it. It happens so often, and there's just another reason. You know, if you are doing these scripts, writing up these scripts, you know, you could have one page just what to say or what to object with, what to counter with when your client objects to a website, to putting their information on a website. It happens so often. These reviews, I mean, who really knows? This could be the best restaurant ever, but for whatever reason, maybe the food truly is not that good. 3.8. Unfortunately, all these, the star rating system has been totally inflated like everything else online. You know, in the normal world, 3.8 is not all that bad out of 5. But to me, it's either 5 stars is now like, yeah, it's pretty good. 1 star is like, you're going to die. Don't go there. 3 stars is like, yeah, it's bad. So this tells me it's bad plus. Old Lady Gang Southern Cuisine. No hate, but this place does have a website. I don't even know what our original point was. Cabbage Town. Yum. Let's go to the comments. GTD says reviews are no longer reputable anymore. Totally. Yeah, and it's not even on Google. We've come really dependent on these stars to just as a snapshot. What do people think about Old Lady Gang? Oh, 3.8. they're so critical in people coming to snap judgments about restaurants, any sort of physical establishment, courses, books, Amazon products. But we are just getting flooded with fake reviews. I'm like one of 4 people on Udemy who doesn't buy reviews. I think it's just a low practice. It's just not something I'm interested in. I don't think it's illegal. I don't know how it could be, at least in the States. But it is just such a terrible practice. Like, oh, this is my competitor. Yeah, go downvote their page and put a 1 star on it. Like, really? That's the best you can do? But these people exist all around the world. So you got to be careful with that reputation. And when you do, just going back to, we'll go back to this Facebook thing again, because like I said, this is a huge client objection. When you have your own site, you can cherry pick your top reviews. If this person is, you want to make sure they're a real person and not a bot. Like if that person has a photo and is like a verified Googler, reviewer or something, that usually means it's legit. That usually means it's legit on Yelp, wherever. But you can screenshot those reviews or otherwise embed them on that restaurant site or all on that site. So there's a lot of things you can do. So for us, this is kind of a blessing and a curse, because reviews online in the wild don't usually, if any business owner is getting less than a 5-star review, they want that to change. And that's another thing you can offer your client. You can help them curate their 5-star reviews so that their site more accurately reflects how they see their service. There is not a business out there who's all like, yeah, I'm a 1-star service. Don't bother me. Everyone wants to be 5 out of 5 every time. Let's go to the comments. Todd Miller, comment volume and count is more important to me than the overall average. Ian says, the Bayless code, I tend to try it if it's 3 or higher. Yeah. I've gone to, you know what's happened to me too. Like I said earlier, I'm a total foodie. I love restaurants. I love everything about it. And when I go out to a restaurant, I want it to be a nice place. I see the pics, things look great. I go to their site or maybe even their Facebook. I see the reviews, 5 after 5, 4.8. I'm going to check this restaurant out. I spent $100 there, and it was just like, really? There's this one restaurant in Minneapolis. I won't say the name, but I just, the tab was $60 for 2 burgers and 2 orders of fries and like 3 beers. And it was terrible. The ambiance sucked. The food was terrible. And the guy doing the flipping the burgers wasn't even wearing a hairnet. It grossed me out. And I just couldn't believe that restaurant had been rated so high. So, I mean, I think honestly on a higher level, as developers, there are so many things we need to be getting creative with this. There's got to be a way to beat the current star system, because it's totally freaking broken. I don't have a solution. at the moment, but the star system has let me down a lot of times. And I got to also take into account that other people's tastes aren't mine. Like I have I'm different. I'm like everyone else in the world, Just because it's an average doesn't mean that's going to be my experience. And that's something that I've just conditioned myself to believe in. Like, oh, this place got 4.8. I'm going to have a great time. And then I'm just totally disappointed. But all of our experiences are so different. Comments. Coyer Stew, what's up? I never look at the aggregate scores for reviews. I read a few 1-star reviews, read a few 5-star, and read a few 3-star. See, that's a good way of doing it. But like I am one of those people who just loves reading the 1-stars. Like I'm so morbid like that. I'm not wishing for someone to find a rat tail in their burger, but if they did, I want to read about it. Like it's horrible. Even if it's not true. I'm immediate to click on those 1-stars. And I maybe that's a technique we can use as consumers too. Read more intermediate, read a variety of reviews. Great comments today, developers. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go through some more comments today. Sammy Turner says, RTC, that's a great point about malicious reviews and trolls on social media for business. Totally. The point can't be overemphasized because I mean, how many users per month does Facebook have? It's like 1 billion active users. It's disgusting. It's insane. I can't comprehend 1 billion users. 1B. So everyone's been affected. Everyone's on it. And a lot of businesses are too. And so they're so used to, and just going back to what we were talking about earlier, they are so used to getting these social proofs and like thumbs up, people interacting with the post. They're not seeing how it's hurting them. But once you start pointing these things out as a freelancer, some people's minds are going to be changed. Others, probably most, are not. But if you're getting, like I said, a 5% success rate is pretty good. Obviously 100% success rate would be awesome, but that's just not how it works, unfortunately. Did someone reference Louis Rossmann up here, or doth my eyes deceive me? Eltic says, Louis Rossmann has a video about Yelp where he turned down a Yelp rep and she got her friends to bomb his reviews. Are you serious? I totally believe it. Louis Rossmann is actually a member of the RTC Discord. For a video I did last year on his arch nemesis. No more can be said on that. All right, a lot of great comments on the review system because everyone uses it. It's so ubiquitous. And like we were talking about, we were talking yesterday. Let's go in here. I'm feeling a little bored with this current map. Anybody ever visited Omaha? Fun frickin' city, developers. Don't sleep on the Midwest. Fun city. We were talking yesterday about, I totally got sidetracked and now I don't even know what I was saying. What were we even talking about yesterday? It was a really good topic. Maybe the comments will remind me of what we were saying. Albert says the public reviews are a pain point for every restaurant. Yeah, and they're just so ubiquitous. Everyone looks at them. Rick Cable, baby pig cam. Ah! Jay says, do you think that since less money is circulating in the economy, business will be hesitant to invest in their online presence? That is an awesome question. And my opinion on that is that yes. Yes, businesses in general are going to be more hesitant. However, we have to look at the specific industry rather than the street. Because in normal circumstances, I would advise developers to start on their block, start on the street, start on the city level, start on the neighborhood level, and then branch out from there. But because we're seeing a shift in where the money is going based on the industry, for example, grocery stores are doing just fine right now. Sit-down restaurants, depends. It depends. Are they even interested in doing curbside pickup or delivery? Because if they aren't, and you can't convince them, then it's a waste of time as a client, as a freelancer. It's just a waste of time. But if you're focusing on in anything with a delivery component, let's put it this way, any consumer good right now is fair game. Any consumer good. The problem though with like something like Walgreens merchandise is that Walgreens already has their infrastructure. They have their digital infrastructure in gear. They're not just depending on a Facebook page. They have companies they're contracting with to deliver. But what if you got like a local drugstore? What if you got a local grocery store? Some of these grocery stores, now in America, the family-owned grocery store is kind of a rare species, but they do exist. Even these little corner stores, these tienditas and whatnot, they need people to help them out. And because they know the money is there and money might be coming in, but we're not talking 10 and 20 grand for these types of upgrades. We're talking $500, $1,000, $5 grand. And eventually, as we go up, as we build our skills, we're gonna be dealing with $20,000-$30,000 apps, sites. It's not uncommon. That it really, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, a $20,000 website is not all that much. It really is not. But for your typical mom and pop, they often don't need something that robust. They need a Wix, they need a Squarespace. Most businesses, especially now, I don't know where you're located, J. I think it was J. It was a letter of the alphabet for your username. I don't know where you're located, but right now we are getting some small business in America is getting some relief. They're getting some money for payroll. They're getting a ton of options for no or zero interest loans. Also grants. The money is there. And it all depends on who is trying to take advantage of that. Any small business right now in the States is taking advantage of those programs. So there is money coming in, but as far as being frivolous with it, you're going to see you're going to see a lot of conservation with that cash. But this all comes back to that business expanding their operation and really capitalizing on what's going on right now. Because what we're doing as freelancers right now with this current situation, we're not waiting 3 months to deploy a website. We're not meeting we're not having endless meetings every week, every day. This is all about the time component, and they need these sites, they need these apps, they need these services yesterday. And if you're able to perform and able to deliver, you're gonna be just fine. Because again, going back to the references or referrals, you're going to be getting referrals. There are so many companies out there right now who need services. And we've been talking mostly about the contactless delivery and pickup with the restaurant industry and with groceries and stuff. But I mean, really, right now, what really is needed is any consumer good. Getting the consumer good into the hands of consumers in an efficient way. And if you can solve that problem, you're going to be slammed with work. We were talking yesterday about building even plexiglass barriers between consumers and people at the checkout scanning the groceries. I mean, if you're entrepreneurial, go around to some of these businesses. If you're good with building things or know someone who is good with these plexiglass barriers, there are probably people out there who want to buy them. Again, businesses, it's all about the opportunity cost. Businesses don't have time to build these websites. They're already stretched to the limit asking their daughter Chelsea to build the Facebook landing page or business page. These businesses really just don't have time for any of that stuff, and that's where we come in. Developer, someone said they love Nerds World. Yes, I don't know where the freaking comment went. Hologram Nunchuck, what is up? About to head to Jack in the Box and ask for camel burger with cheese. I would totally try it. I would totally try it. Curlier Stu says the amount of offers for work I'm getting haven't gone down at all. Just different types of clients now. Yep. Lots of people with money wanting to start things in the streaming or video game space. I'm so glad you mentioned that too. That is another vector we haven't even touched yet. We haven't even touched upon it in this live stream. Entertainment. If it's one thing you don't want to shut down when we have this type of thing, when we have a crisis, it's the liquor stores. Also, don't shut down the streaming entertainment options. If you are not interested in brick and mortar type freelance development, helping these brick and mortar stores, there is an entire world online waiting for you. What's exploding right now? Look at what Coilier Stu just said. Video games were the joke of the dev industry forever, but this whole oops, I almost said it, is making them more viable in the short term. Yeah, and it really can't be emphasized enough. It's the short term right now. We cannot wait 3 months for developers to start making these things and making these things happen. It has to start right now. It has to start today because the money is flooding in certain sectors. Other industries aren't doing so well and are a little more conservative with their money and their investments. But this was a great point. I'm so glad you pointed that out. Yeah, I mean, I'm busier than ever too. I'm busier. The work has changed. My work on a weekly, monthly basis has not completely changed, but a lot of it has. But I'm busier than ever. Let's go to these comments. GTD says game dev is probably one of the hardest types of development, though. True, and it's very competitive. But what about working with some of these APIs, some of these web dev solutions. Unfortunately, I don't subscribe to any streaming services, so I don't know of any problems with them. But I can guarantee you there are some problems. And if you can find or discover a solution for those problems, I wish I could talk in more concrete terms, but this isn't my bag. There are definitely problems that need to be solved. And if you're good with C and C++ and can work that Unreal game engine like a boss, pumping out some games, pumping out some cheap games, I mean, people are just eating them up. Now, I don't want to endorse mindless consumerism because that's bad, but sometimes people just want to waste some time. I know it's a tragedy. People waste time. You could be watching a RealToughCandy live stream, hon. Don't be wasting that time. Sometimes people just want that mindless entertainment, and that's where the money is. Also, starting your own distillery right now might not be a bad idea either. Let's see. Bayless Code says, what type of projects do you work on these days? How has it changed? Well, for one big change is that these live streams are a lot more engaged with people who are stuck at home or who aren't getting that social component. So I've added on to my work week these live streams, and I love it. I just love it. And other people, judging by the turnout with some of these live streams, people like engaging too. So that social component has really changed with what I'm focusing on, with even just getting topic ideas for the lives. I would say, honestly, most of it is focusing more on RealToughCandy on the website and on the YouTube. So I've been working a lot, doing more articles. My contract work, my freelance work is the same level, is the same volume, but I am doing more training. Why? Because more people are furloughed, out of work, and looking to career change. And some of the companies I work with need training videos. And I'm doing a marginally more training videos than I have. Is that right? I'll just say the last couple months I've been picking up more training vids and been doing more consultations too with people trying to get in the industry. But as far as right now, I mean, I'm like the website too has been getting a lot more traffic, so I focus a lot more on that as well. And the priorities have really shifted because I mean, honestly, I spend too much time doing a competitive analysis, in my opinion. So instead of like crunching the numbers and saying, well, this YouTuber and that website and blah, 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 I'm doing a little less competitive analysis and more content production. Because again, it's just like that time element is so pressing. It's the here and now. People don't want daily live streams 3 months from now or 6 months from now when things are at this new normal. Right now, a lot of people are just like, dude, I'm socially isolated. What's going on? Let's check out some lives. So yeah, good question. Thanks for asking. Mila Morris is here asking, do you think it would be a good idea for me to make a website for a local business, or would that not be a good idea with what's going on? Oh, absolutely, yes, it is a good idea. As Paradoodly Do mentioned, most of the live stream, we did talk about that. If you weren't able to tune in for this live stream, we're going to have some timestamps. I try to get to those within a few hours. After this live stream's up, I'll go ahead and put those timestamps in the video comment area. You can check out those out, but absolutely. Ollie says, I'm going to say it, I'm fine with this whole world quarantine thing, could do it for months. Yeah, I mean, some people are really distraught over not being able to go out and stuff, and I'm like, I can't relate. This is just my normal, baby. This is just what I do. Rick Cable, great office automation tutorials here. Help me when they threw Excel VBA project at me. What's up? Kay Jackson, how's it going? Bree Powered. If I am a beginner developer, how do I know when I'm ready for freelancing? Bree, I mean, you can start right now. That's one of the biggest myths of web development freelancing. You can start right now with, people are going to laugh at me, people are going to mock me, but you can start with Wix, Squarespace, and some of these off-the-shelf solutions. If you have just a little teeny bit of HTML and CSS, you're good to go. you're good to go. If you have just a little bit of design experience, you're good to go. Always be starting small. Start with some volunteer projects with a family member or with a nonprofit locally or something. That way, there isn't bad blood. You know, you never want to start out a project, have the client, whether it's your mom or a neighbor or a small business, and you don't want them to be dissatisfied with your product, with what you build. So it's okay to have your first few projects done for free, but eventually you are going to be charging for them. And it's never too early to start. It's never too small to start. I know people who build simple HTML and CSS landing pages, splash pages. Those are worth a few $100. I mean, easy. A good landing page, and if you're doing the copywriting and stuff, it depends too on how much more work you want to do than just the web portion. Like if you're doing the copywriting, developers, a good copywriter can cost $250 an hour. Copywriting is very hard to do. It is such an in-demand skill right now because like marketing is basically the internet, right? And content marketing is a huge thing. But if you can do copywriting, if you can do photos, take a few simple photos for a website, you don't have to have 100 out of 100 points when you're doing this stuff. That's going to come in time. This is all a process, and a lot of people are scared to start, and I understand that. I really do, because there's a lot at risk. But if you start super small and just start with a family member who maybe wants a little personal website or something. I always use the example of Aunt Lucinda. She wants a little landing page because she's looking for a date but doesn't want to do OkCupid. Just wants to put herself out there and what she's looking for. Find your Aunt Lucinda and then go from there. It's really never too early. Developers, it is 7:07. My time here is winding down. I hope you got some good ideas for freelance web developer opportunities. We had a wonderful live chat audience. Welcome new subscribers. Welcome to people who have been here for a while too. It's really awesome seeing people who join the dailies. People like GTD, Mila Morris. I know you've been to a lot of these. Ian Bayless, Donovan. So many people. And one of the curses of name dropping is that I'm always forgetting people. Sammy Turner, who's also a new patron over at patreon.com/RealToughCandy. Todd Miller, Albir Tarsha. I see you a lot too. Daniel French. What's up, Daniel? Hologram Nunchuck. Always great to see you here as well. George Meehan Dev. And so many more developers. Keep the money coming. Keep the hustling spirit alive. This is one of my favorite topics. I love talking about entrepreneurship, and I love talking about software development as well. And I love hearing people's stories when they get their first client. It just makes my day. Check out Freelance Newbie for more information on getting started with freelancing. It is top-rated course and book. Paradoodly-doo, thank you for your amazing mods. Avir MDS, 6 a.m. Thanks for staying up for this, or maybe you just got up early and tuned in. Edward Gonzalez says, I really like your streaming. I'm learning so much. That's great to hear, Edward. I'm so glad these streams have been helpful. Developers, it's time for dinner. Peace out, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.